see people.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our PNB is Listening Mother's Day edition. I'm Sarah Kolat, and I have two wonderful dancers here, Liz Murphy and Sarah Pasch. And welcome, and thank you for giving us this time. I kind of want to clue our listeners into how difficult it was for us to get together today, because I think it's really reflective of what it's like to be a working mom in a post-pandemic world in the arts. But we have been planning this chat for 2 months, or maybe 3. It may have been in February, and in the meantime, we've had Rep 4, and we've had Swan Lake, and people have been sick, and childcare has fallen through. And so finally, here we are today, 4 days before Mother's Day, finally getting to chat. So I'm so excited that we finally made it happen. Hi, Etta. And why don't we start? Why don't the two of you introduce yourself, and then we'll just start talking. Liz, you want to go?
Sure, yeah. I'm Liz Murphy, and I've been dancing with the company now for 10 years. And yeah, I had a baby girl last June, so she's almost 1. Her name's Zoe, and she's taking a nap right now.
I'm Sarah Pasch. I've been in the company about 10 years, the same as Liz, because when she joined, I became an apprentice. And I had my little girl Etta here in January of 2020, so right at the beginning of the pandemic. She is 2 now, and here we are.
Well, I have to say, when I started here, I had just had a baby. She was almost 3 months old, and I can barely get a shower in the morning. I maybe can do my hair or wash it, and sometimes neither. So I was absolutely stunned to have the two of you come in. And Liz, you came back 3 months postpartum and were performing. Sarah, I was just so inspired by you doing a degree with an infant at home with the pandemic, and then being like, okay, I'm going to go bounce out for 3 months and do some student teaching, and then I'm going to come and dance Dewdrop. So I want to talk about that, because I think it's really inspiring, and I want to know about the challenges and all that. So why don't we start? Sarah, will you tell us about your pandemic experience and what you've been up to?
Well, I keep saying this, but we got really lucky because she was born right at the beginning of the pandemic, and I had planned on coming back to work around 3-4 months postpartum as well. But then that wasn't an option because we were shut down, and so I ended up having almost 9 months with her to just be with her, which was such a blessing. And the same with the schooling. I was going to take time off from school because I was like, okay, I'm having a baby and I'm going to go back to work, and I just needed to take time off. And then I ended up, well, here's a pandemic. I'm not working. I am a new mom, which is stressful, but my school is all online. So it was really, I got to do it all at my own pace, and I felt comfortable staying on because I didn't really have much else to do since we weren't working. So I just decided to push through, and and yeah, that's just kind of how it worked. So in a way, the pandemic kind of helped me out a lot, which I hate admitting because we're still dealing with it. It's not like we're really living in a post-pandemic world yet, but it really did work out for the better for me in a lot of ways. So that was really cool. But yeah, I mean, school has always been kind of my hardship for me. I've always had a hard time with school, but I knew I wanted to get this degree, and so I kept having to push myself, and I'm really glad I did because I feel very accomplished and proud of myself. So.
And Liz, what about you returning to dance 3 months?
Yeah, I mean, I actually hadn't planned on coming back as early as I did. It was really a day by day basis. I started training 6 weeks after she was born. And by training, I mean doing breathing exercises and taking small amounts of bar. And, I just progressed as it felt natural. But something to know too is there, as professional dancers, we have amazing support systems, people who are caring for our bodies, and um, they're wonderful at what they do, and they really make, coming back like that a possibility. Not only that, the amount of people who supported me with Zoe, including yourself, both of you actually, carried a lot of that, that weight early on. All these mothers just kind of emerged from the woodwork, and I just felt so, I'm gonna like cry just remembering what it felt like being overwhelmed and coming in with a screaming baby, and you just like taking her and be like, I got this, and I would run off to a costume fitting, and it's all so new, and you don't have this point of reference. And I just felt so loved and supported physically and emotionally, early on. And that's how I did come back as early as I did. And it was a wonderful moment to get to celebrate with the company. I did a small part in Rep 1. I think the entire piece was about 7 minutes, and I probably had about 2 or 3 minutes of dancing, and it was in socks. And but it was wonderful to celebrate that, the reopening of what we do to a live audience. And so it meant a lot to be there. And there were so many people that really, and my husband too, that really made that possible. So yeah, it was really wonderful, challenging and exciting, and yeah, really special.
I just wanted to add, sorry, that Liz brought up that support system, and that really is such a huge thing. I don't believe I could have done anything that I was doing without the support system that I had, and not just at PNB, but here at home with my husband too, and just everyone, even on, digitally online, people who I know in other companies or in other forms of work that are also working parents, and just that community to really help you feel like you're not the only one. Because we all know, anyone who's been a mom, sometimes it feels like you're the only one, and you have those moments, and to have that support system is just so, that's what makes it all possible.
I totally hear that about feeling like you're the only one. And it kind of segues nicely into my next question for the two of you. How has your relationship with dance and with the company changed since becoming a parent? Yeah, I'm interested in that. Sarah, do you want to go first?
Okay, so how has my relationship changed? For the most part, having kid and being a ballet dancer, or in any sort of, I think, art form, I don't know if it's in every job, but I think in the arts especially, you get so wrapped up in what you're doing, and you only get the one chance to do it, especially as dancers. We have such a short period of time, so we get really wrapped up into this world that it's like the only, thing for us. And when you have a child, that world really opens up, because there's something else that is important. And so it didn't make me care less about my dancing job, but it made me just think twice about where my headspace was, that this isn't everything, and I also have another little life at home that needs me. And yeah, it just really made me think twice about where my headspace was every day when I came into work, and what was really important and what was not as important, and might have been really important before I became a mom. Yeah, so that's my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, I think I would second a lot of that, having shifting priorities in a way. It you don't love what you do any less, but there's this incredibly wonderful little person in your life now, and it really puts things into perspective, I think, in a healthy way. I think for me personally, I have become a lot more patient with myself, with others, it feels like, just even the process of, getting back in shape and having to be kind and love my body in a way that was in a lot of ways new for me, to be forgiving of it. And, you just go through this incredible thing. And, to me, becoming a parent and going through the whole pregnancy, I started to, love and appreciate what my body could do in a way that I never did with ballet. It kind of gave me a different perspective there. And then continuing through the whole healing process, I had this new patience for myself. And I was like, you just did this incredible thing. And if a pirouette didn't work one day, or like I couldn't jump yet, I was like, it's okay. You had a baby. Like, you grew a human. And just like having that mindset through my whole recovery, I think, to go back to what I was saying before, I think in a lot of ways, that mindset allowed me to progress quicker, to come back to, to dance. But just like having that patience every day, and then looking back at the beginning of the week and being, even if there were little small gains along the way, I could look at it pretty practically and say like, wow, you came really far this week. I'm proud of you. Like, and that was kind of a new journey for me, finding that compassion and patience.
That's awesome. I guess what I hear from both of you is like your perspective like changed, and there was more capacity for different perspective. Yeah. Okay. Sarah, can we talk about Dewdrop for a second?
Yeah.
Let's. So just to say, maybe I can, because I can kind of remember the dates. Basically, Sarah was student teaching until the end of November, and then came back one weekend and was performing in Nutcracker, and then I guess you can tell us the rest of it.
Yeah, well, so when I approached Peter about letting me leave for 3 months to do my student teaching, I kind of promised him I'd come back for Nutcracker, because the core is just not very large, and I'm really needed when it comes to Nutcracker. So that I promised him, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, but it's gonna take me a minute, and I also would like to have one last Dewdrop because it's also gonna be my last season. Sorry. So I told him, I was like, I am there. I'll do it. I'll work up to it, and if you could just give me one last Dewdrop towards the end, I'd be so appreciative. And I think when it came down to it, I might have regretted it a little bit, but I knew I really wanted to do it. And it was really hard, but it was so rewarding. And the best part about the whole thing is that Ezra filmed it, and Edda still watches all the videos. She still watches me do Dewdrop from, December, when I definitely was not performing at my best Dewdrop quality. Because on top of like not really dancing very much the whole last year because it was a pandemic season, but I didn't get to come back very soon after I had Edda, so my body was like all over the place, being like off and still figuring out what's going on after having a baby, and I just did it anyways because I wanted to. And in the end, it was definitely worth it, but it was really hard. But yeah, I wanted to do it, and it wasn't anyone else forcing me. It was something that I wanted for myself, because I knew that when I look back on my career, I just wanted to be able to do it one more time. And it had been 2 years because I was pregnant, and then there was a pandemic, and so I made myself do it, and it was really fun, but really hard.
Well, it was amazing. And I was so impressed. I mean, even like just all of the work, all of the flowers, all of the snowflakes, it was just like you jumped in after really being gone for 3 months. It was quite incredible.
I mean, the blessing too is that here I am, in my 10th year in the Corps, and I know it really well. I was like, if you guys trust me, like, I'll just step into shows. I won't be at any rehearsals, but if you trust me, like, I know I can do it because it's Nutcracker, and I do it every year, and it's like, I don't even have to think about it. But yeah, so that was really lucky too that I'm so experienced, but it was definitely a very special experience, the whole thing.
Liz, you in February took on a really big new role of Juliet in Romeo and Juliet. And if I'm doing the math right, Zoe must have been 6 or 7 months old. Can you talk about that? Because it is a really big role to do from the ground up. So yeah, I'd like to hear about that experience.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a really special opportunity, and I was so excited that we were doing Romeo and Juliet again. I just love that ballet. And I think that throughout all of it, I feel like there was a lot of letting go, that I had to do. And just again, with that like expectation of how, I wanted things to go, and how you want to progress in a role. Because at 6 months postpartum, you're still finding yourself again. And I had just done Nutcracker, and I definitely still had some things that I was building back up to. But I feel like during Romeo and Juliet was the first time I really started to feel like I was myself again in most ways. And, not looking at the choreography and thinking like, oh, that step's going to be hard, like kind of thing. Um, and yeah, just kind of, approaching a role that is that big. I felt like, there's a lot of dancing. It's a full length. And yeah, just like letting go of kind of like the fear, any expectations I have, and just like approaching it um, from that place of like love and just enjoyment. Um, but yeah, I think I was so grateful to be with Lucien, who's a partner I trust a lot. And I feel like he was there, right along my side. And like the beginning, it felt like a little bit, rocky still, just in terms of, coming back. And I think about halfway through the process, I really felt like I hit my stride again. Yeah, so there was definitely a buildup, and just like having gone through Nutcracker, I think I kind of got used to approaching a role and not being able to do all of it at once, and kind of trusting the process more. And kind of, I think that's what I mean by letting go, is just uh, being okay when something doesn't work the first time, and being okay that there are things that you have to relearn how to do. And that um, not being too prideful to be like, yeah, I can't do this step yet. And then just taking it, day by day, and trusting your team of people around you to help you build back up to that. And yeah, it was a really wonderful process. And again, it was like a great support system that I had going into it, and all throughout it. Um, I remember too being so sleep deprived. I mean, I guess you are the whole first year, but like some days I'd come in, I'd be like, I just had 4 hours of sleep. And I just like started not counting. Like I'd be like, I'm just not going to count. I'm just going to like wake up in the morning. Like we're not going to ever look at the time. She's going to wake up as many times as she does. And, just like letting go of thinking that you need any amount of sleep, and just kind of like, showing up and giving everything that you have in that moment. Day after day, week after week. And it built up. It happened. It built up, and it was a really wonderful experience.
Well, it's actually an interest. I'm curious about performance weeks specifically, and the balance um, of being with your small children, and being in the theater so much, and how how that feels, and how you are able to counteract it. I'd be interested in hearing that from both of you, because you've been doing it all season, and it's really incredible.
I'll just start by saying it's exhausting. Theater week, especially, well, my husband does the lighting. And so we have kind of parallel schedules in ways. But then during theater week, he works really crazy hours. And then, of course, so do we. So we're lucky enough to have some help on those weeks. My mother-in-law comes in. But sometimes there have been programs where she hasn't come in. And it is so challenging to balance both worlds. And that's when I'm really thankful, again, for like the family that we have as dancers. And there are so many people who I'd be like, okay, I have to run on stage. And then they would watch Zoe in my dressing room. And, you know, it's like moments like that. You're just like, oh my gosh, like, I'm just so thankful for everyone who steps up in a moment and, you know, makes it happen. But yeah, theater weeks, show weeks, it's pretty exhausting. If I have a big show like during Swan Lake and during the full length, like Reed will do more at night, so then I can get like a full night's sleep, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, mother-in-laws are a blessing.
Same here, mother-in-laws. Yeah. Theater weeks, I think, are mostly just sad for me. Like, I'm tired, but I'm also just sad because I don't get to see her. And, you know, it's not just the performances, it's all the days leading up to the performances. And, you know, like, I don't get to tuck her in at night. And that goes on for like a week and a half because we usually perform 2 weekends. And a lot of times I'm in every show because I'm in the corps and I do different roles. And, but yeah, so grateful for mother-in-laws and my mom too, who has flown in for a few reps as well to help out for that evening care. But you know, Edda's 2 now, so she's not like waking up at night, but you know, she still wakes up at 6 every day. So no matter how late I go to bed, she's still gonna get up at the same time. So that's always challenging. And, you know, I haven't had any instances where I needed people to watch her at the theater. Just because, you know, again, Liz and I need different things with our kids right now because hers is, you know, Zoe's younger and she needs mom a lot more. And Edda doesn't necessarily need me as much anymore. So I haven't really had to bring her with me. But yeah, theater weeks are just hard. It's like, I always tell myself, okay, this is only 2 weekends. This is not the whole thing, but like definitely when we got into Nutcracker, I had multiple panic attacks. Like, I can't do this. I'm not coming back. I can't do this. I can't leave her this much. But then I was reminded that, you know, Nutcracker's really long, but all the other reps are only 2 weekends and it's not forever. So yeah, just definitely those like that mom guilt and all the different like head spaces just get thrown around and it's just stressful. But you know, it's still magical when you get to go out on stage and perform, and that's definitely the part that keeps you going, even when you miss your baby a lot.
All right, I have 2 more questions for both of you. The first is, do you have a good mom hack to share with all of us? What's your best mom hack?
I don't know if this is a hack or just, but we've been frantically trying to start baby proofing, and we thought to put rubber bands as we were kind of underprepared. I'll just be honest. We just started putting rubber bands on all of our cabinets to lock them, and it's worked really well. She loves playing with it, and you know, some people have seen it and they're like, "Oh, I didn't think of that." And I was like, all right.
We've done the same thing. We actually really didn't baby proof our house at all except gates over our stairs. We're just like, not necessarily anti baby proofing, but we just didn't want to go around and like put all this ugly stuff on our furniture. We're just not that kind of people. And so we rubber banded our cabinets and we put up baby gates, and you know, that worked really well for us too. I'm trying to think of a good hack though that I've used. Edda, what's a good hack? What's a good one? What's a good mom hack? I don't know.
Oh, I thought of one more.
Yeah, good. Go.
I carry a pile of toys in my passenger seat, and when she gets bored, because she'll drop them, and I can't pick it up, so I bring like 10 toys if we're going somewhere that's like 20 minutes away. pile of
That's a good
toys on
one.
the passenger seat.
I
Yeah.
have like a little photo book, or like a 4-panel photo thing, that's in front of the car seat of like
Oh,
me and my dogs and our daughter, and
Oh,
look at pictures.
so cute.
that's a good one because Etta loves looking at pictures. That's a really good idea.
I'm gonna do that. What are your hacks? I want to know. You have 2 kids. I feel like
Yeah.
you're probably
Um,
mine.
I buy freeze-dried smoothies so I don't have to clean a blender every day.
Ooh.
Where do you get those?
Um, it's called Kenco. It's like a subscription thing, but it's awesome because you just have to shake them, and like I have the capacity to shake in the morning.
Yes.
Um, that's about it, though. I mean that's my capacity. Gosh, mom hacks.
Well, my sandwiches. Maybe that's another one.
Your sandwiches
Oh, yeah.
we share.
Yeah.
You know, at the beginning of the week or on a Sunday, if you're that prepared, buy a loaf of bread, some sandwich meat, you know, whatever you like, and then I just keep the whole thing at work. So I make my sandwich at lunch every day.
It's a great meal hack. I was
It's
going to
all,
tell
it's all
you, when I was in the hospital with my first, I brought a loaf of bread and peanut butter and jelly.
Mm,
That was I thought that would be better than hospital food. So I just like ate peanut butter sandwiches.
I love that.
All right, my last question. Sarah, I want to know what you're going to miss the most.
Oh.
And Liz, I want to know what you're looking forward to the most next season.
Oh, what am I gonna miss the most? I mean, probably performing. That's really the cherry on top of this whole career. I love dancing and I love all that, but the rehearsal process and all that can always get grueling. But once you perform, it always reminds you why you're doing what you do. So I think I'm really gonna miss that magic of like the curtain rising and seeing all those people out in the audience and the live orchestra and especially it applause too. The very end of a show is always so magical, seeing people stand up and I'm definitely gonna miss that. I'm gonna miss seeing all these people every day, even though I know I'll see them, but just being in the studio with all these awesome, funny, artsy, silly people on a daily basis is definitely going to be what I'm going to miss most. Because when I was student teaching, not that I didn't get along with people, I loved all the people that I worked with, but it's just so different than hanging out with a bunch of artists. It's so different. And so I know I'm going to miss that a lot when I really get into teaching, because it's just a whole new community. But yeah, but I'm ready to move on, and I think it's the right choice. It's just I'm definitely gonna miss those things.
I think you're muted.
I'm totally muted, and I said that we're going to miss you so much.
It's true. It's true.
All right, what about you, Liz? What are you looking forward to most next season?
So I think Giselle. This was part of the 2020 season that got canceled, and we never got to start rehearsing it. But it's such a beautiful production. It's been a while since we've done it. I think it was I want to say my second or third year. They did a huge rebuild of everything, and the costumes are just phenomenal. And so I'm excited to revisit that ballet and just see the whole production again. I think it's just wonderful. And it's
I'm
the 50th.
excited to come watch.
Yeah, it's the 50th, so it's a big year, and there's a lot of really exciting other exciting things. All the new works. I love a new work. So yeah, a lot to look forward to. But Giselle is just, yeah, that's the one.
Well, thank you so much, both for taking your time today. And I'll just say, Happy Mother's Day. You're doing amazing things. It's just such an inspiration to watch you both in the rehearsal room and on stage and with your colleagues. You're just both so generous, and it's just a joy to know you both. So happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, happy
Mother's Day.
Mother's Day. This has been wonderful.
And maybe we'll all be in the same space next week and,
Yeah.
at the same time.
I hope so. I really hope so.
All right.
All right.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.